You are listening to Keep Canada Weird, a weekly weird news roundup by the Nighttime Podcast.
Handsome Aaron Airport. It's mid-August. Summer is just flying by, and all you have to do is walk outside, and you can feel the effects of summer. It's brutal out there.
Brutal. Well, I don't know. Do you find it that hot out right now?
Not even that it's hot, but I find our scorched land is terrifying and concerning. I have a special drink in my hand, but I almost feel like I should go sprinkle this kombucha around on my lawn because it's not even, there's no grass on it anymore. It's just this crispy, dried, flaky, flammable nonsense.
Nonsense, yeah. Well, that's very kind of you to give your lawn some kombucha.
You got a drink?
I do have a special drink. Since it's the summer, I thought I'd have a beer tonight, and I picked up a tall can of Blue Moon Belgian white beer. So
okay.
I'll crack this in front of you so it's official.
Yeah, and while you crack it, I will let you know, last week you had a Cove Soda, which is like a local Nova Scotia pop. I was doing work abroad, and I was surprised to see Cove Soda being sold in the U.S. Although that's controversial to say, I wasn't going there to vacation. But how was this drink you got?
I mean, I've had this beer many times. It's a delicious beer. And
it's still good.
Yeah. It's still just like the first time when I was 14.
At the start of the show, I mentioned how dry it is, how I want to pour my kombucha on my lawn, or maybe go sprinkle it near the woods. But I can't actually go in the woods, and that's what I want to start with tonight. Rather than listener mail, there's kind of some, I don't know if this is weird news or at least unique news that's playing out here in Nova Scotia, affecting me as well as affecting you in your part of the province. And I'm kind of curious if other people around the world have experienced something like this. Nova Scotia has taken the drastic step to prevent wildfires by banning the public from entering forests, trails, and wooded parks until October 15th. These new restrictions also come with a hefty fine of $25,000. I'm going to play a short clip about how the province of Nova Scotia has banned us from entering the forest.
A leisurely walk in the woods is no longer allowed in Nova Scotia, and it may not be for the rest of the summer.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods.
Nova Scotia's premier announced today a ban on activities in the forest because of extreme dry conditions and the risk of wildfires.
Hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles in the woods are not permitted. Trail systems through woods are off limits.
According to the province, the penalty for violators will be the same as it is for the burn ban put in last week, $25,000. As for how long this ban on being in the woods might remain in place, the premier said it could be as long as Nova Scotia's burning ban until October 15th, unless conditions change in the meantime in the form of some significant rain.
So this whole thing with stay out of the woods, I'm not disagreeing with it, but it sure feels a lot like reminding me of the COVID era, except this is like drive-it. It's been so long since there's been rain in Nova Scotia, and there is no rain in the forecast for the next, week or two. The risk of a wildfire is so high that the province is simply do not go in the woods. They've banned fireworks or any kind of pyrotechnics, and with $25,000 fines. What do you think of this? Is this weird news?
It's weird news for sure. I've never seen this before. Have you? Have you experienced this? With the exception of the similarities of COVID?
Certainly not.
Where, especially in the early days of COVID, where we were told to stay out of parks, stay out of all of these places, and then just to walk in our general neighborhood.
Yeah, just stay in your neighborhood. Yeah, that is the only comparable I have. But that said, this is kind of an unprecedented thing to, stay out of the woods. But the amount of wildfires and forest fires we hear about also seems unprecedented. My whole life growing up, I had, forest fires were a thing on TV, but not something that actually happened in Nova Scotia or even in Canada for the most part. But it seems now that it's constant. Right now, Western Canada has been on fire for I guess it's been probably a month now. Last summer in Nova Scotia, we had horrible fires that flattened neighborhoods. So it's just I don't know, something in the world is changing, and it's making it a big concern our province is taken very seriously. So I'd like it if they could just simply say, no one do anything stupid in the woods. Don't throw cigarette butts or have a fire.
Yeah, I'm conflicted about this whole thing.
Yeah, because you're a walker. I know you love going for walks.
Yeah, yeah. And yesterday at 4 p.m. I was in the woods when this went into effect. I hadn't heard the announcement. I wasn't expecting the announcement, knew nothing about it. And I was doing a hike with some friends in the woods in Gabarouse and having a lovely time. And then I got home later that night, and someone had told me that this announcement had occurred and that we've been banned from the woods. So
You could be facing a $25,000 fine. I can't imagine that fine would actually stick, but I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me because I feel like people who are going to do what they're going to do are just going to do it. And
That's a good point.
they're not going to care about your $25,000 fine because they're not going to expect it. And you can't control what, the puberty problem is going to do about this.
Oh yeah,
Let's
certain.
let's call a spade here. One of Mother Nature's most gruesome opponents is the puberty problem and their grass fires. And for me, like when I go into the woods, like I'm not bringing anything with me that is going to cause a fire. So I go in, I go for a little hike into the forest, and I walk around, I take some photos, I come back, and I go home. I'm not cooking in there, I'm not smoking cigarettes in there. There's nothing that I'm doing. And
Are you shooting fireworks?
I was, but I was fined $50,000 for that, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah, I guess the problem is you can't, if you're going to let people in the woods, idiots as well as reasonable people will show up in there, and bad things can happen. Either way, I wanted to start the show off with that, mainly because I'm curious how listeners around the world, how where they live, deal with the risk of wildfires. Has your government banned outdoor activities like walking through the forest? It's an interesting thing.
The thing that I feel bad about, in particular, on this issue, is that there's so many people that use the forest as their mental health relief.
Yeah, and nobody likes the government saying no to anything. So there are probably people who don't even want to go in the woods, and they're like, "Screw you, government! I'm going in there." But whether or not this is weird news can be debatable. But we got a whole bunch of weird news to get into. Let's take our first break. When we get back, we have a trilogy of dumb Canadian crimes. Our first one actually involves fireworks and that horrible puberty problem you mentioned earlier. We'll get to it after this short break. Aaron, on Keep Canada Weird, we've spoke at length about something we're tentatively referring to as the puberty problem. And what that is the rise in teenage misbehavior in Canada. We've been referring to it as the puberty problem, but a lot of the Keep Canada Weird listenership has differing ideas on what we should refer to it as. Our first story is going to involve teenagers. Whether or not it's the puberty problem, though, will remain up for debate. A listener named Alina wants to give us a possible other name. Here's Alina's idea for naming the puberty problem.
Hello, Jordan and Aaron. I have a proposition for a new term for the puberty problem. As much as I really like the name, I know it offends some other people. So my alternative is the hormone horror, or the hormone horrors, as referring to teenagers. I will not be mad if you guys continue to use the puberty problem, as, of course, I said I really like the name. But I think if people are uncomfortable with that term, I think hormone horror is a good alternative. Anyway, I love the show. Thank you, guys.
I think that's a really good suggestion. And I like that she's like, puberty problem's great. That's a 9 out of 10. But could the hormonal horror be a replacement for people who are uncomfortable with the puberty problem.
The hormonal, hold on. The hormonal horror. There we go.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
It's a great name. It's a great name. It's a bit of a mouthful.
It is,
but
but I think what we should do is offer that for anyone who is uncomfortable using puberty problem for fear that people may misunderstand what they're describing. Hormonal horror, I think, is good. But then, at the other hand, that could maybe also refer to like menstruation or later in life as things change within your body.
Yeah.
There could be a lot. So it also is a bit of baggage that goes with the hormonal horror. But let's hear our first story that, whatever you want to call it, is about teenagers doing some stupid stuff in Canada. A bizarre assault in Quarryville, New Brunswick has led to charges against two 19-year-olds who allegedly ambushed a victim and attacked them using live fireworks. The explosive attack left the victim with only minor injuries, but it left the suspects facing serious charges. Here's the story about that assault with fireworks in New Brunswick.
Blackville RCMP says it received a report of an assault at around 10:30 p.m. on Route 108 in Quarryville. Police say they were told that a man was walking down the side of the road when he was approached by a vehicle. The man says two individuals got out of the vehicle and began shooting live fireworks at him several times before taking off. RCMP say the victim sustained minor injuries, and police have since charged 19-year-old Nathan Lee Gillespie of Blackville in connection to the assault. Gillespie appeared in Miramichi Provincial Court on Monday, where he was charged with using explosives with intent to do bodily harm, assault with a weapon, possession of a weapon contrary to an order, failure to comply with a probation order, and resisting arrest. On Tuesday, RCMP arrested a second 19-year-old man from Blackville in connection to the investigation. Prior to the RCMP making these arrests public, video claiming to show the incident from Friday night had been circulating on social media. Police have not verified if this is in fact video of the incident or if it is connected to their investigation in any way. Police are asking for more information from the public, and that people who have information should contact Blackville RCMP or Crime Stoppers. Gillespie has been remanded into custody, and police say he is scheduled to appear in court at a later date. The unnamed 19-year-old individual who was arrested, that person has been released on conditions, and they're expected to appear back in court in November.
Ooh, they're referring to it as two 19-year-old men, which in the eyes of the law, yeah, they are men when they're 19. But I think you and I both know this is related to their connection to being teenagers. This is some serious, poorly thought out nonsense. Like a drive-by fireworking. They jump out of their car and shoot seemingly a random person with fireworks. Not only is it stupid and bizarre, but they're 19, so the law is going to come down on them hard. And these guys are facing serious charges. Like, this is a very big deal. What in their mind is probably a prank and something cool to capture on video for their friends could result in some serious jail time.
Yeah. I mean, they're using Roman candles from what I can see in the video. Am I correct, do you think?
That's what it looked like to me. And I know when we were younger and we shot fireworks at each other, that was the weapon of choice, Roman candles.
Yeah, because it made it look like you were in the G.I. Joe cartoon with the way that they're, zoo, zoo, zoo.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked awesome. But did you ever... Yeah, and for people, I don't know if that's like a specifically Canadian or East Coast thing to like have firework fights, but it's a lot of fun and it looks cool. But if you actually get like the live firework hits you, or God forbid, like gets stuck in your hood or something like that, it's actually quite terrifying.
Yeah, it's no joke. They're 19 years old. This is puberty problem runoff, is how I'll describe this.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, because they're in between that, and it's a different generation now. Like when I was 19, I never would have done this. I would have done it at 16, probably 15. But 19, I was on to bigger and better things. I think I had other things to occupy my time. The legal age in Nova Scotia is 19 years old. So, you start going to bars, you start meeting people of the opposite sex, maybe, and
The types of charges these fellas are facing. Well, at least one guy, Nathan Lee Gillespie, seems to be the one that's really really in trouble. 19-year-old facing. I'm just going to list some of the charges to give a sense of how serious this is. And he's an adult. Like you said, if we were, you would have done this when you were 15 or 16. We know how it works in Canada. They wouldn't have done anything to you when you were 15 or 16. But when you're 19 and you're facing charges of using explosives with intent to do bodily harm, assault with a weapon, possession of a weapon contrary to an order, which is really interesting because if there's an order for him to not have fireworks, like did he do something like this before? He also had failure to comply with a probation order and resisting arrest. Mm-hmm. So this is like a serious crime. And what do you get out of it, Mr. Gillespie? The joy of shooting a stranger with fireworks. Was it worth it? I'm going to think probably not.
I mean, his TikTok account might speak differently.
You can't, yeah, maybe he's got a bunch of views as a result of this, but it's, when I say, teenagers are nuts and I'm scared of them, it's because of stories like this. They're willing to take incredible risks for no reward. It's almost like they have nothing to lose. And it seems like, to do this and face these charges, it is just, there's no stopping the army of teenagers.
Well, the thing about what makes a puberty problem a problem is the slap on the wrists, the zero punishments that happen. Mm-hmm. But these two puberty problem runoffs are facing the swift hand of justice on this one.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
And they'll be going away for a while, probably.
You know who else is in trouble? The nasty bakery burglar that struck Kitchener, Ontario just last week. Our next story tonight is simply the next in a series of stories we've covered over the last 2 or 3 years involving burglars burglarizing bakeries and in the process doing something stupid to the baked goods that make them an interesting, weird news spot on the evening news. A Kitchener bakery owner is left shaking their head after a bizarre break-in that saw a thief smash into the shop, steal a bunch of electronics, and help themselves to some pie. Here's the latest entry in the ongoing saga of bakery burglaries.
From broken glass to stolen sweets.
It's unbelievable.
Mom's Bread and Pie Co. in downtown Kitchener is recovering after a break-in. It all unfolded just before 5 a.m. Wednesday. Owner Christy Bannon watched it unfold later on her security footage and couldn't believe what was taken.
You could hear it. It's very loud smash. And then the guy came in, he looked around, kind of pawed around the electronics in the front here, and then went into the freezer, grabbed some pie, and then left.
Staff arrived in the morning to find shattered glass and signs of the strange heist. The suspect made off with a tablet, a point-of-sale printer, a basket of ice cream sandwiches, and a single slice of key lime pie.
Probably because it's ready to eat. So everything else is frozen and needs to be baked. So it probably might give him away if he's baking some frozen pies at wherever he's staying.
Bannon says she felt more confused than angry after watching the security footage.
Mostly I felt sorry for the person. It really felt like they just wanted to smash something, or they just wanted to cause a problem for somebody for no reason.
Police are describing the suspect as a white male with a light build, wearing a black sweater, black pants, red gloves, and sunglasses. Bannon says the estimated damage is under $5,000, but the community response is priceless.
It's happening again. I prefer the bakery bandits that go in specifically to grab baked goods. It seems like the theft of the baked goods was an afterthought here.
Yeah,
he was in there for the point of sale terminals. It seemed
that was a when in Rome situation where I'm going to go in and I'm going to steal these electronics, but when in Rome, I'm going to have some pie.
Yeah, and also he took they refer to it as a basket of ice cream sandwiches. I get that. I would love to have a basket of ice cream sandwiches, especially on a summer night, to be walking down the street.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them.
The more you talk about it, the more reasonable this break-in seems to me.
Well, what do you think of this? I don't know much about them, but a point of sale terminal is like that thing you use, so you put your credit card or debit card in it or whatever to pay. what would you have to get? What would a criminal have to gain with those? I wonder if they would resell them, or is there a way to get like the information off them and, steal people's identities and stuff?
Well, there are some of them that look like computers, essentially, that you can buy, that it's a point of sale system. So it would be essentially a small computer.
I could actually, I've been in quite a few, often smaller businesses like a bakery, where the point of sale terminals are like little iPads and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have looked just like a little computer, an iPad or whatever, and he probably didn't realize that it's not much use to him. And he also probably, I would say, doesn't realize that he took a slice of key lime pie.
Oh, key lime pie is great. Why, are you suggesting he should have done something different?
Do you think he wants key lime pie, or did you think he just grabbed it, saw that it was sliced up, and then took it?
I think you're probably right. It was probably a crime of opportunity. I think a key lime pie is a little bougie, and I think the average person who's stealing, point of sale terminals is probably more looking for just like a thing of cookies, or maybe like Rice Krispie squares.
Yeah, he definitely is going to smash through a window for some Rice Krispie squares. But, well, key lime pie, although a great pie, I don't think would be in this individual's demographics of pies.
Yeah, it does seem like a low risk as far as theft pie goes. I think someone stealing good like treats, it's going to be like chocolate bars, cookies.
Or even in terms of pies, you're talking cherry, you're talking apple, blueberry. There's so many other pies that this person's probably imagining that this slice is. I'm sure he didn't analyze the slice before he took it.
No, he was out of there. He was probably thinking, I just hope this isn't strawberry rhubarb.
I love strawberry rhubarb.
Yeah, but you're not breaking into stores stealing debit machines and stuff. The type of person who robs a store to steal a debit machine doesn't want strawberry rhubarb. They don't want a lemon pie. They don't want a key lime pie.
Well, they might want lemon meringue.
They would eat just the meringue and chuck the bottom part.
No, man, the bottom part's unreal. You're crazy.
I've promised you 3 dumb Canadian crime stories. Our third one is going to be a whole situation, because I guess by law, it's going to involve a criminal because they were fined for breaking a law. But there's going to be a whole lot more to it. The discussion surrounding this next, our final dumb Canadian criminal, is going to be so deep that I think we should take our final break now. When we get back, we're going to hear about why you don't want to mess with Canadian geese. We'll talk about that and another animal story after this break. So it's going to be a natural evolution from dumb Canadian crimes on into animals. Let's start after this break. Handsome Aaron Airport. We did dumb Canadian crimes. We're going to do animal stories. Let's bridge that gap with a crime involving animals. A Winnipeg woman has learned the hard way that you don't mess with Canadian geese. After tossing a bunch of stuff at a nesting bird, she found herself in court and fined $300 under the Migratory Birds Convention Act, a federal law that makes messing with Canadian geese a serious offense. Listen to this story coming out of Winnipeg.
They can be loud, aggressive, and they don't seem to care if they're in your way. But interactions between people and geese aren't always this polite.
And as one woman found out recently, messing with a goose can mean legal trouble.
It started one night when the woman was trying to go to her friend's apartment. When she got out of the car, there was a nesting Canada goose in her way. So she threw a bottle of leather cleaner at it, then a pylon, to try to scare it off. But someone nearby was taking a video and reported her.
The woman was charged under what's known as the Migratory Birds Convention Act, which protects birds like geese. She pleaded guilty in a Winnipeg courtroom last month and was fined $300. One animal lawyer says she thinks these kinds of incidents happen all the time, but it's rare for someone to actually get charged.
The difference in this case is that person was caught.
In Manitoba, the province says most charges under the legislation are related to hunting.
And I think that's where a lot of people say, they come before the court and they say, well, I didn't know that was a crime. But that doesn't matter.
A provincial spokesperson says the law protecting Canada geese comes from a time when their populations were struggling. As for the recent case in Winnipeg, the prosecutor told court she hopes the fine drives home a message that as frustrating as geese can be, they're protected in Canada, so you just have to work around them.
Much like wildfires in Canada are like a reoccurring theme lately, so are Canadian geese, and stories about people's inability to do anything about Canadian geese infestations. But this one's different, because I don't see what the goose did to deserve having leather cleaner and a pylon thrown at it.
Well, we weren't there. Like with a lot of these stories that we cover, maybe the goose was just begging for it.
I don't know. I think the idea of scaring them off, maybe like taking a sweater off and swinging it around and walking towards it and just trying to intimidate it and, to get out of your way so you can get past it. Because in this case, she's going to a friend's house. She stops her car. She gets out. Presumably, the only reason she would get involved with the goose is if it was like in her way and she had to pass it. But to be like, I don't know where she got leather shoe cleaner, but she had it with her. She threw that at the goose. That didn't work. She picked up a pylon, which she must have picked up off the ground, because who would travel with a pylon? And she threw that at the goose. And I think that's a step way too far.
I agree.
If you hit it, you could kill it. And I do really enjoy the CBC News report that we watched about this story, because they actually had like an animation showing the bird and showing the woman throw the leather cleaner and then throw the pylon. And then it like pans to like a little animated character holding a phone filming it to really show you how this all went down. But yeah, I think the pylon was a step too far. And unless she was defending herself and was in like actual physical danger, I think she deserves that $300 fine.
Yeah, I mean, she was crossing the line clearly, and somebody caught her on camera. It's just, there's not much you can do. And she got off the easy $300. Is that all she ended up having to pay? Like that's not much
in the scheme of things. Like, there's not a lot you can do that results in a fine less than $300. Like, do you know what a speeding ticket costs?
A speeding ticket these days, I don't know, $200.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've never had a speeding ticket. I've had several warnings, but
I've had a warning, but I've never had an actual speeding ticket, and I hope to never get one. But
knock on wood. The only real like big fine I got was I actually got a fine once upon a time for crossing train tracks. A CN rail tracks.
Really?
Yeah. I never thought anything of it. I didn't realize it was a crime. I didn't know you could get in trouble for it. This is, 15, 20 years ago or something. And as I'm walking across the tracks, this like little car came up and they're like, "Come here, you." I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And then he asked for ID, and I noticed he had like a train station kind of car. So I was like, "Yeah, here's my ID."
Yeah.
And then he gave me a fine, and I had to pay it. I think it was $500. I should have just took off, but I didn't realize.
$500.
Yeah,
but you're a grown adult at this point in time. You were going to run?
No, I was probably 21, 22.
You said 15
yeah,
years
you're
ago.
right. Maybe, no, I think I was probably more like 20 years ago then, because I was probably like 25 or something, maybe a little younger. But I probably should have taken off. But all that to say, I didn't realize it was a crime, and I told the guy that. And just like the woman in this story, saying I didn't know that was a crime is not a defense. So I guess this is a PSA for everyone listening. You're not allowed throwing pylons and stuff at migratory birds in Canada.
No, you're not allowed doing anything to geese. That's just, let's just leave it at that.
I think if anyone listens to this show, they would know that, because we've already heard how a bunch of geese have taken over a military base in Canada, and and the military couldn't do anything about it. We heard about a police station in the United States that was getting pooped on by Canadian geese, and they had to just live with it. Canadian geese are one of those things. They're going to do their thing. They were here first. They're going to do their thing, and we got to just do our best to not get pooped on or arrested for scaring them.
Yeah, or throw shoe polish at them or whatever.
Why did she have leather shoe cleaner? It must have just been in her dash or something.
Maybe she just came from shopping for shoe cleaner.
And pylons.
She's like, "My shoes are so dirty. I'm so mad about it. If I see a goose, I'm going to cave his skull in with my shoe cleaner."
It seems like what she did. It seems like
it's what she tried to do.
What she tried to do. But this story, involved harming an animal, let's now talk about a story about trying to protect an animal. I'll call this story Get That Pig Out of Montreal, but I want to see what side of this whole thing you land on. Do you want the pig to go or do you want the pig to stay? Timmy, the mini pig, has been a beloved community member of the Montreal suburb of LaSalle for 11 years. But some people want to change that. The city is demanding his eviction on a technicality. Despite his 40,000 social media followers and a street full of supporters, Timmy, the mini pig's future hangs in the balance because his owner missed a deadline to register the pig. Here's the tale of Timmy, the mini pig.
Give me your hoof. Give me your hoof. Thank you.
That's Sandra Propetto and the love of her life, Timothy, the mini pig.
He's my baby. I know him so well. I mean, I had him since he was tiny. He fit in my hand. I'm the only mommy he knows.
Timothy is much bigger now and quite docile.
They're house pets. They're just really big dogs.
They have more than 40,000 followers on social media and lots of LaSalle neighbors who visit in person.
He's not hurting anybody. Look at him. He's innocent. He's so sweet. He's loving. He's just so adorable. I just want to give him a big old hug.
2 weeks ago, an inspector visited Propetto and told her Timmy has to go because he's not registered. In 2018, the city of Montreal passed a bylaw allowing owners who already had a mini pig to keep their pets as part of the grandfather clause, as long as they were registered. Propetto didn't know and missed the deadline. Now, neighbors are signing a petition in the hopes that Timmy can stay.
With the community, with his mom, this is where he belongs. This is where he's supposed to stay. You can't take him away. It's like taking away a child.
In an email to CTV, the borough of LaSalle said they are upholding Montreal's bylaw and have received some complaints about Timothy. And that means there's little chance to have an exception to the rule.
If I would have to rehome him to a farm, he wouldn't like that. I mean, he's used to sleeping in a bed with big covers over him. He's used to me tucking him in at night. I know that sounds crazy.
Propetto still hopes for a reprieve for the big fella, who, she says, is the equivalent of 70 years old in human years.
That story breaks my heart. And it kind of ties into our prior story in a way where she says she didn't know about the registration, but not doing it because you didn't know. Apparently, the city of Montreal is not accepting that. I'm surprised they're coming down so hard on mini pigs. For one, there can't be many of them. And secondly, you would think I love dogs, but I feel like if I walked down a street that had 10 dogs wild on the street, and then I went down the next street that had 10 mini pigs walking around unleashed on the street, I feel like the dogs would be more like intimidating and more likely to bite me or something. Would a pig do that?
Yeah. I didn't know that so many people owned mini pigs as domesticated animals that there had to be laws written about it.
Yeah, why would they waste their time with this? But then again, we're talking about Montreal, a city where we recently discussed how they were changing the amount of people that can be working in a grocery store and all these kinds of strange rules. Maybe Montreal is the land of strange bylaws. But yeah, I've never had any issue with mini pigs where I'm like, I wish the government would step in and clean up the out of control situation about mini pigs. At least her mini pig seemed like a wonderful animal. In the news clip, he or she, Timmy, must be a he looked very clean and nice, and it did look like a big fat dog.
I'm curious as to or if there were any actual complaints, because they reference that there were some complaints about this pig and that she would have to file a Freedom of Information claim to access what these complaints were. But that seems like a very strange amount of red tape to be able to say, well, if there's complaints about my pig, can't I know them? Yeah,
that's the way it works, though. If you have one of those nosy neighbors who are calling bylaw enforcement every time you do anything weird or build a fence or whatever, you can access those complaints. It probably will, but you have to do it through the privacy laws, like a Freedom of Information kind of thing. And you would probably end up getting a report that has the complainant's name redacted and stuff, but at least it would give you a sense of the nature of the complaint. But yeah, I'm thinking Timmy the mini pig probably just has a neighbor who's just a cranky person who doesn't like anyone being happy, because Timmy to me seems like a good mini pig.
He looks like a wonderful mini pig man, boy. Well, beast. What are we calling this guy? He's 70 years old.
Yeah, that's an old pig. Not an age where you want to just uproot yourself from your comfortable home and go to a farm, like a hobby farm or something.
He's lasted this long. Yeah, this long, domesticated, sleeping in his owner's bed. And I'm curious, like, does Timmy eat at the table with her?
I bet you he does. Like, it seems like this person loves their pet. So I have a feeling Timmy probably either has like his own special bowl next to the table, or maybe he even sits on his owner's lap and she feeds him. What do you feed a pig? Like handfuls of mud and carrots and stuff?
Mud. Yeah, I just stuff mud in its face.
Maybe.
No. I imagine they'd eat like oatmeal and like, gruely types, gross stuff that's not as gross as mud.
Yeah, not that gross, but gross stuff. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, you took it up a notch. Yeah, it's too gross. But I don't know. It's a weird story. I can't really think that what the true course of morally is the way to go here. Because I mean, at the end of the day, he's a pig, and if he goes to a farm, he's going to be fine. He'll probably really like it there. There'll be other pigs. There'll be probably a diet that's more suited to him. He's not going to have indigestion anymore.
Mm-hmm. But at 70 years old, like just think if it was a senior citizen, our beloved senior citizens.
Yeah, but he doesn't give a shit. He's a pig, man. He's just like, I just want to roll around in the dirt for a change like I was born to do.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Like just let him have his twilight years living wild. Like if you found the right hobby farm, someone who would look after him and welcome him and help him transition from domesticated to somewhere between domesticated and wild, he would probably and
he's not going to be chopped up and served to anybody for breakfast. Like he's going, he'll live out his life comfortably on a nice farm.
And often a hobby farm also will have like, people can pay to go walk through it and see the animals. I could see people, like especially children, wanting to pet little Timmy. And maybe he'd love that.
He would love it. And you know what? This is I side on the government on this one.
Get that pig out of Montreal.
Get him out. I was the one complaining the whole time.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. When you get your Freedom of Information Act document, it's got my name all over it.
Yeah, I think in the lead up to this, I was very much on her side. I think I probably still am. I would only be on the side of getting Timmy out of there if it was something she was okay with. Let's say I wouldn't want him to leave just because of all this bylaws and registration and deadlines and stuff. But let's say if the right hobby firm stepped up and they said, we want Timmy to be our mascot. Timmy will be in this, we'll treat him amazing. Kids will pet him. He won't be eaten by anyone. He's going to live out the rest of his life with medical care, great food, and great friends and family to be around. And you can visit every single day Timmy's owner, and spend time with him. And
yeah, you just have to pay the cost of admission.
It's $2.
Or a food bank donation.
Yeah. And yeah, maybe she would be like, you know what, Timmy, let's try this. Let's see how it works. And maybe everyone's happy. The city of Montreal, the hobby firm, Timmy, and the owner. Maybe she'll enjoy the freedom.
Yeah. And she'll even be able to come in and spray him with a hose or something on a hot day.
He'd love that.
He'd love that.
I think this has been a bit of an exercise in optimism.
It's an eye-opening experience. Yeah, it's wonderful. You and I really, really got there together on this, and I think you and I should open up a hobby farm.
I'm glad we ended on a positive note of finding a blessed future for Timmy, because we started off a little bit dark with the ban from the woods, forest fires, hell, brimstone.
Well, it's been an interesting week, and this this woods ban, not allowed going into the woods. That is where I would go walking all the time, because as you know, I like to walk every day. And it actually comes on the heels of me starting a TikTok account.
Oh.
That I go for walks and listen to music on, so people can come with me on the walk and we listen to music together.
So the government stepped in. They're getting Timmy out of his home, and they're getting Aaron out of the woods and off TikTok.
Yeah, well, I'm not going anywhere because I'm still going to record my walks every day, and people are welcome to join me on those walks, and we'll listen to music together. My TikTok handle is @Aaron Airport, and you can find me there. Let's not go into the woods together.
I'm sure a lot of listeners are going to find you on there, Aaron, and I'm sure you'll keep Canada weird through your walks that you're filming and listening to music during. I look forward to joining you myself on those walks from my phone.
Yeah, I'd love to have you. It would be great. And after we finish tonight, I'm going to edit a couple of walks and maybe post one later.
Wonderful. Well, let's put a bow on this. We kept Canada weird. We got into the dumb Canadian criminals. We heard about animals. We had some teenagers, and we discussed current affairs. All that's left to do now is let listeners know that the next Keep Canada Weird mailbag is in the wings. We've been plugging away at that. We're going to get that one out to you soon. But for now, let's just end it for this week. Handsome Aaron Airport. Until next time.
Jordan, bus stop, backhoe, bowing apart. Until next time.
Stay out of the woods. Watch out for teenagers with fireworks. And don't rob a bakery. And if you do, take a good look at what you're stealing before you eat it.
Yeah. And if you encounter teenagers in the woods with fireworks eating key lime pie, get out of there because it could cost you $25,000.
I want to thank you for helping Aaron and I fulfill our mission to keep Canada weird. If you got a news story from your area that you'd like to share with us, or have any thoughts or theories or opinions on anything we discussed tonight, we'd love to hear from you. You can contact us by using the voice recorder that can be found at nighttimepodcast.com/contact. And on that topic, I want to give a big thank you to this episode's correspondents. If your voice message was aired tonight, you can email me your address. My email is nighttimepodcast@gmail.com, and I'll get a Keep Canada Weird badge and swag pack sent out to you. I just ask that you wear the badge proudly and responsibly. Next, a big thanks goes out to Aaron for another great night, Nicole for the intro and outro voiceovers, and Monty Data for the outro version of O Canada. And then, of course, a sincere and massive thank you goes out to each and every one of you listening. Your support makes this show possible. And if you'd like to support the show even more, please consider a subscription to the premium feed, which can be found at nighttimepodcast.com/subscribe. The premium feed costs just a couple dollars a month, but that money will fund the creation of new episodes of the show, and it'll give you those episodes 2 days early, ad-free, and access to a back catalog of episodes. And even if you don't want to go premium, you can still support the show by sharing this episode on social media. That helps a lot too, and it's free. Your support is very much appreciated. So with all that said, until next time, take care of each other, hug your loved ones tight, and together, let's keep Canada weird.
Keep Canada Weird is written, hosted, and produced by the Nighttime Podcast.
And now to our viewers and listeners everywhere, good night.
Hi, it's me, Bobby, calling from Stellarton, Nova Scotia. This is in regards to episode 174, and Aaron saying that fishing takes skill. Well, I am somewhat of a fisherman, so I will tell Aaron, who knows nothing about fishing, that it takes the proper equipment, because if you don't have the proper equipment, you're not going to catch the fish. And if you do, then you will. And also, it's about the time you're going fishing. So, fish don't like the sun. So you go in the morning when it's not so hot. They don't like heat. They go deeper in the water. So Aaron, if you want to know fishing, get a fishing pole and go fishing. That's my point.